Hit record, let it roll. Scales, tails, metamorphosize. We don't sugarcoat a thing. We don't chase that easy conversation. Real keepers in the chat. Habitat vivarium palladium. From the rack to the biotank. From the desert to the jungle. Cold-blooded conversation. Real talk, we walk that walk. No hype, no bait, just learn, relate. Cold blood. Real talk, same crew, one community. If you're here for the truth, then you're one of us. What's your venom? What's your poison? Let us hear about that clutch. Talk mistakes, not just wins. Share the losses, learn again. Desert sand, jungle vine. Every story on the line. From the kid with just one gecko to the gal with all the teeth. Cold-blooded conversation. Real talk, we walk that walk. No hype, no bait, just learn, relate. Cold blood. Real talk, same crew, one community. If you're here for the truth, then you're one of us. Cold-blooded conversation. Real talk, we walk that walk. No hype, no bait, just learn, relate. Cold blood. Real talk, same crew, one community. If you're here for the truth, then you're one of us.
I don't know what we've done, but we're live. We are live. Sai and Dan, we go straight in, by the way, boys. So it's like when we go live, these are all there and everyone can see us. And it's Friday night, and we are back with another episode of Friday Night Live. Good evening, everyone. Just let me turn this music off. There we go. Everyone
You
should be-
remembered?
I did. It was because I've got the stream open on the other monitor to keep an eye on chat and everyone. So good evening all. We'll do the usual housekeeping. So before we get started, we need to make it clear that this episode contains paid sponsorships and advertising. Our podcast is supported by the Reptile Keeper, Fauna Lux, Lighten, and Snakes and Adders. The content may include affiliate links, discount codes, paid promotions, gifted products, or sponsored mentions. If you use those affiliate links or codes, we may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. It helps support the channel and allows us to continue producing content. Everything is in line with the ASA and CAP code. Now, with that said, let's get back to the podcast.
Okay. We'll start.
To rehearse that.
Yeah, he's got a script. He reads it. I have suggested he records it and then plays it during the intro video, but he won't do it.
No. I keep doing it live because it's funny when I fuck it up.
It is. It's fun.
then-
Well, it's not like it's your first one of the night, though, either, is it?
My fuck up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not fucked up yet.
Well,
I might have done something, but Donna's not here. Well, in fact, Donna's not here. So, fuck. Just as I say that, yes, I did manage to close the team's window and have to reset everything backstage. So, like originally I was going to say like tonight's a little bit different, but it's not, is it? We've had quite a few invert keepers and breeders and people on, and I'm actually looking forward to tonight because we get to talk about all the creepy crawlies that look after your vivariums and all the stuff that does stuff. And Tony coined something last week that I really liked. So it's not bioactive, because I think that's a really misleading term. And we were just talking about this in Andy and his aquatic isopods, and I was like, Andy, there is no amount of isopods that's going to clean up after a sailfin dragon, mate. And Tony's comment last week was bio-assisted, and I really like that. They are there to assist within the maintenance of the ecosphere that we create within all these vivs. And it was a really good term, I think. So I'm going to start trying to use that. I think it's really good. Although not. So, go on, Si?
No, it is a good term. I'm thinking about it because when you're keeping reptiles, and especially larger reptiles, as you said, no amount of cleanup crew is ever going to clear up all that waste. So no. I think it's quite misleading if you're first researching about kind of setting up a reptile or an amphibian into a purely bioactive, I'll use the quotations, setup, and it makes it sound as if you don't have to do any maintenance at all.
Yep.
But there's always a level of maintenance there. And as we were saying just before we started, with the sailfin, no amount of cleanup crew is ever going to get rid of that much waste. So bio-assisted, fantastic term.
No, I've got a turtle downstairs in a 5-foot fish tank, Northern Diamondback terrapin, and I've got a sump pump on it. It's just there's nothing that you can do that's going to remove that amount of waste. Bioactive vivarium, I've got nothing against bioactive. All of my stuff is bioactive. It's heavily planted. It's just, I think when you've got newcomers into the hobby, it can be a little bit misleading. That's all. Nothing against it, because everything I have is bio-assisted, as we've just said. So tonight we're going to look into the world of invertebrates, bio-assisted cleanup crews, isopods, springtails, millipedes, all the tiny animals that keep naturalistic systems ticking over. Only Pods, thank you for the subscription. And it's not just for the keepers that keep big fibs like this that use them. People actually have just isopods and inverts for the sake of it as well. Strange bunch of people that they are. But
Careful,
there are some seriously nice looking inverts, so we're going to look into that as well. And tonight, as you can see, we're joined by two fantastic base names in the invert and bioactive space, the Bug Room and PostPods. These are known for isopods, millipedes, terrarium invertebrates. There are a strong focus on UK hobbyist keeping and breeding. Their site highlights isopods, millipedes, bioactive inverts, substrate, decor, hardscape and supplies. PostPods are a UK-based invertebrate breeder specialised in isopods, springtails and bioactive microfauna, and the site stating a focus on in-house bred stock rather than imports, middlemen or wild-caught stock. Just a quick note on that, we're seeing that a little bit more often as well, aren't we, where shops, I know ads over at Micro Exotics, he does not sell any wild caught stuff. Everything he does as well is all in-house produced. Now, he said that he does buy wild caught stuff for himself to breed from, but he doesn't then sell it. So it's really cool that that's the stance that he's took. I really like that. PostPods are a UK-based invertebrate breeder specialised in isopods, springtails and bioactive microfauna. Site stakes and done that. And tonight, as we talk about much more than bugs in a box, we're going to talk about how both businesses started. Isopods have exploded in popularity. Springtails, the role in biosystem vivariums, millipedes and other inverts, cleanup crews, bioactive myths, common mistakes, captive breeding, shipping live invertebrates, and the future of the UK invert hobby. Dan and Si, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Can we take it in turn, lads? Because I think we'll have trouble if you both speak at the same time. Do you want to? So we've got a lot of reptile keepers who might not know you. Do you want to give yourselves a bit of an introduction? And I don't want to ask how you got your first animals, because we've all heard that 1,000 times on every other podcast and conversation that happens. But how did you end up with the businesses that you're running? What brought you here today, sort of thing? You know, what started your two businesses?
Do you want me to go first, Dan?
I always let you go first, Si.
Thank you very much. Such a gem. As Mac alluded to, we specialise in inverts, mostly isopods, millipedes, and springtails. We've got a load of other little bits as well. What got me to where we are now, basically just having too much. So too many isopods, too many millipedes, and I was talking to the missus and we were like, what do we do? So we had a hell of a lot of different isopods, cultures absolutely booming in their boxes. Too many to be able to do anything with. So we discussed what we should do with them. We thought, let's try and sell them on eBay. We both were thinking, no one's really going to buy these, and we ended up selling them a hell of a lot faster than we thought, which gave us the money to buy more, and then the addiction truly kind of snowballed from there. And we've just been doing it ever since. And yeah, we're not kind of trying to absolutely flood the market with millions of isopods and just kind of buying everything. We just keep isopods because we enjoy keeping them. Anything extra, we sell them on. And that's kind of how we got here, really.
Dan?
That's good.
Dan, you're muted, mate.
We're starting well. We're starting well.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah. So I had a bit of a weird entrance into it. I know you said don't talk about your first pet and all that kind of stuff, but I used to, as a kid, be into the more fluffy, gentle kind of stuff. Like chipmunks that you're adamant you can tame.
Yeah.
And it bites you every day, and you're like, one day it'll stop biting me. It never did, to be fair. And anyway, after a few pets like that, went to the pet shop with my dad, and he was a prick, to be fair. I was like, I'm going to get another animal. He was like, yeah, okay, cool. But I get to pick it. I was like, right, okay, what can I have? He was like, you can have a spider, a scorpion, or a snake. Knowing full well I was terrified of all three. And they was the only options. I was like, okay, great. So I got a snake, and then genuinely fell in love with the hobby from that side of things. But then every so often I'd always challenge myself for something bigger, something better, something more out there, I guess. So over the years I've had many different things, and after keeping many different snakes, I was like, right, I'm going to get a berm. Yeah, I'm going to get a berm. That's I think I'm at that point now. And as you guys will know, no doubt, berms very bloody messy. So in this 8x3x3 tank that Mrs. kindly let me put in the living room, I was like, I love him, but it was always like bits of shed or just crap and stuff in the tank. So I was like, how can I not so much reduce the crap, because that's not like exactly like we said before, bioassisted, but get rid of mainly the snakes shed and things like that there, the smaller little bits instead of your spot cleans. And Missy's actually had isopods already in a chameleon tank, so I got some of those. Didn't really see them for a while, but the tank was cleaner. And then after a few months, I was like, this tank's got bloody all over the place now. Is there any better colours, patterns? Because I don't really like the look of these. And then I went down that rabbit hole of like the Argos catalogue, seeing all these different types and colours and patterns. And to be honest, I kept them for about 2.5 years without selling any, without trading any. I was just like collecting them, almost playing Pokemon, like catch them all. Just there's another type there, there's another type there, there's another type there. And as we all know, it's very different to getting, let's say, back in the day when bearded dragons were going for free, shall we say, back in those days. and people didn't really understand or respect that the tank's still going to cost 200-300 quid to set up. They thought the animal's a big part and everything else just whatever. Whereas it's kind of the opposite way with the isopods and a lot of the millipedes and stuff, where if you've got a little bit of space, you've got a spare tub, you can house it very, very cheap. So this hobby is that, just one more, just one more, just one more. And after keeping them for a few years, finally got to that point where, look, I've got decent colonies now. It's time to start selling. It's time to start doing something a bit different. And then as I got into selling those, that's then you go down more the invert route rather than the reptile route, which I've been down before. And you start seeing all the different types of animals you can get. So I went from dairy cows full of berms to, I think I've got 200 types of isopod now, a dozen types of millipede, 5 types of snail, about 10 types of bloody springtails. So yeah, it's quickly snowballed. So business point of view, I've always been very anxious as a person, and I wasn't one of those that's like, oh, I'll just keep doing this. I'll just do it and I'll be all right. So I registered it very early on. Actually had like the second year tax return end of January, so we're into like the third year now. But it's kind of at that weird point where I was saying to the guys earlier, like I decided to leave my job this week. Not so much because of the bugs and stuff, just really, really hated it for a long time. Sile is no stranger to me telling him. So I was work, I was like, still shit. Work got any better? No, it's still shit, mate. So finally decided to throw that towel in and I'm going to give this a go. Like I don't know if it's going to be for a few weeks, a few months, a few years, but I'm going to give it a go and we're going to see what happens. But yeah, that's a quick, well, not quick, I don't know, I talk far too much, but that's my little journey so far, I guess.
No worries. It's good. It's amazing how you can do. You start somewhere with something like you ended up with the berm and stuff, and it takes you in a completely different direction. So when I first started the within the reptiles this time round, I was heavily into my royals, and it was when I joined the RSUK WhatsApp groups. And if you're not in there, you should get in them. It's a really good community. And I was learning so much more than what I thought I knew, and it's changed everything that on how I keep and how I provide for them as well. So
yeah, I think. Sorry, go on, mate.
No, you're all right.
Yeah, and I think in terms of, like you say, the hobby and that kind of how you nurture it all, it's like in this hobby, I've had multiple different animals over the years, and gone down different things, and it's like, I was not just saying this to be nice to you two, but I was genuinely like, oh, I've been invited to come on here. Like Shaz has been on here, and Jordan's been on here, and like I go to Jordan's shop all the time. I've been going to see Shaz since, but he was in Leeds on Kirkstall Road. Going in there as a kid and seeing, like, especially like you say, Mac, with the royals and stuff back then, having royals for thousands of pounds, and was like, wow, one day I could be breeding this or doing this. And these pet shops, it's such a shame that you see so many of them closing down now as well, because they, for a lot of us, are versions of the Argos catalogue. Yeah. Although a lot of people won't even know what the bloody Argos catalogue is anymore.
No. Argos and Index. Index was a job.
Oh, that was it.
Circling everything that you want.
Yeah, 100%.
What you do with your siblings, different colour pens, so they knew who wanted what for Christmas and all that sort of stuff.
Run up to Christmas. Yeah. It's getting close to Christmas when you're going to pick up the catalogues.
Everything's circling.
The shops are a hard one. They're frontline, and they deserve every bit of respect that we give them. But it is hard out there at the moment financially for a lot of people, not just the shops, not just the keepers, the buyers, everyone. I've just bought a load of new lighting, and I unfortunately used swell for my sins. But it was it was hard to justify going to my bricks and mortar when it was an extra 60, 70 quid for the lights.
Yeah, but at least you've got them on the day and not had to wait 6 months.
That it wasn't quite 6 months; it was about 8 weeks, but we got there. I don't even think it was 8 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks. But what
didn't work.
It didn't work, no. But what I do is when I go up to the pet shop, the reptile shop, I always put like 50, 60 quid in the tills. So that's money that I saved. I still spent with them. It was just at a different point, and then I've got other bits that I needed, plants and feeders and leaf litter and stuff like that. So I still support them when I can. And I've had animals from them as well. And then my surplus royals, they go up to them as well, and they get them at a really cheap price. So they do better out of the deal than I do, but I also then don't have to feed clean water and heat. So it's there, isn't it?
The bricks and mortar stores, it's just there's none near me anymore. As Dan said, they're closing down left, right, and centre. I've got one kind of exotic specialist store in like a 30-mile radius. It's crazy.
Yeah. So my nearest store's Slytherin Reptiles, and it's a good 35-minute drive down up the M1. So it's not even like down the ring road or something. It's the next junction on the motorway. Exotic enclosure, unfortunately, shops are very hard, especially when you get the customers looking at products and then buying the items on Amazon, etc. 100%. And I think that's where we need to respect the store, that if we are buying from, and like Amazon, I've got a love-hate relationship with Amazon, because they are the death of the high street, but I can't live without it at times.
You can order it, it's here the next day, or even the same day. That's the bit that makes it harder.
It really is. It is, and that's the thing. We are that busy in life with family and work and kids and everything else that we do. We're paying for that convenience.
But it's not like when you roll back to when we were kids and everywhere shut on a Sunday, and if you ordered something, you waited 3 to 5 weeks for it.
Yeah.
You'd have to fill out your little catalogue slip and send it off.
Crazy. But we've just become so used to it as well, haven't we? We almost expect it. Why can't we get it next day? Why can't we get it same day?
Yeah. It really is that case.
And we all do it. We all have that little strop of, it's going to take this long to get here. Because we're so accustomed to everything getting quickly. Forgetting, like, if I ordered something from Dan, for example, he might have a set postage day, and I might have done it the day after, and I've got to wait till the next postage day.
It's funny, like, exactly like you say, that Amazon mentality. I had someone about 2 months ago pay for next day delivery on a Sunday, and then messaged me on Monday afternoon and went, "Where's my package?" I was like, it says Monday to Thursday I post it, but how could I have posted it? He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "What post office is open on a Sunday, mate?"
Yeah.
And then he expected a discount because I'd inconvenienced him. I was like, "How?"
No, it's
difficult.
It is. It's hard, isn't it? There's a lot going on. Nat's just said that Bradford's lost 2 stores recently, albeit shit ones, but they're still closed down. Exotic enclosure has said, unfortunately, shops are very hard. And then they've said the council and the overheads don't help as well, and that's coming from an ex-shop owner. It's hard, and I hope we get to a better place where we become less reliant on Amazon and Swell and places like that. That we can support those bricks and mortars. But going back to like when people asking the stores for advice and then saying, "Well, can you tell me what one I need to order?" I know Jordan gets that a real lot at the minute.
He put that on his Facebook, didn't he? On Facebook this week.
Yeah, Jordan and Shaz as well. I remember Shaz is, I think he's one of his biggest issues with people doing that is like coming in with like really crap lights and stuff, like the Temu specials, and going, "I've got a setup. I'm ready for the animal. I've got the setup." And he's like, I think customers perceive it sometimes as, "Oh, you're trying to get more money off me or whatever," but it's like, no, it's genuinely not safe what you've got.
No. And
this is the thing. A lot of the care information as well that people end up going to online is dated as well, which doesn't help. And the bricks and mortar, on the whole, are up to date on where things are meant to be. So the advice they're going to give you is going to be a lot different to you might get on your Facebook group, or you might read on this bit you found on Google or Google AI.
Same as what Max said before, there's these WhatsApp communities where, the information's current, it's live. You've got these communities of people being able to share information, right there and then. Similar to what you get in a reptile shop, you'll never get that same up-to-date information on on Amazon or on Swell or anywhere like that.
No, but people like they said about Jordan, like, every time you go to his shop, he's always fucking moved everything around. But he's always got new stuff as well. And I never knew there were so many different types of like dicks and ears and stuff for the dog. Every time you go in, there's like 5 or 6 new types of dog treat, and you're like, what? You actually have to ask, like, what is this? Like he's really, really good at innovating, and from that small space he's got, it's like Pandora's box going into his shop. Always got new stuff.
We had Jordan on as one of our first shops to come and talk to us, and one of the things he said is he's always tinkering, he's always moving stuff around, he's always doing something to the shop. Yeah, we like Jordan. He was a good guest. We got on well with him.
I suggested to him at the time that he got everything laminated and just stapled it to the roof, and then people could just point to what they wanted.
But yeah. So we've heard that Dan's first sort of inverts were his isopods for his boas. What was your first inverts where you sort of went, yeah, this is where I want to pursue?
The first thing I got personally were some Chinese mantis that I bought off eBay very, very long time ago. I bought them and they came, and I was like absolutely fascinated by them because I've seen some pictures online. And I was just like, they look really cool. And I thought, I wonder if you can get them around here. And I just had a little scroll and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I thought, there'll be some on eBay. So I bought some on eBay. And they came and they were absolutely tiny little L2 nymphs and loved them to pieces. I was like, these things are so alien. It's just like, they are absolutely mental. And from there, I grew them on, got them to adults, never bothered trying to breed them or anything, but I thought these are just really, really cool. And then kind of alongside me doing that, my missus got some land snails, and that's where I was like, oh, why are you getting them? And then she was just like, oh, they're really cool. They came, they were really cool. And then she was looking online and she found out about Isopods as a cleanup crew, and we got loads of dairy cows, and that's kind of where it all spiraled, because we ended up with a big bloody box full of land snails and about 1 million dairy cows, and then just kind of doing the research on, okay, what if you can get these kind of isopods, what else can you get? And then it was just a slippery slope from there. And the problem is it's the accessibility of it. So you've got, with reptiles, you need quite a lot of space, quite a lot of investment to, actually set up these tanks, and a lot of research before you do so. With isopods, it's like you can literally pop down to the supermarket and get an enclosure together. Yeah. And it's just so easy. And once you've got one, it's easy to get to. From 2, you can get to 10 pretty quickly. And it just, takes over then.
Because the thing with isopods and a lot of the inverts and stuff, it's nice to have display enclosures, don't get me wrong. I like my display enclosures, but if you've got 20 or 30 different species of isopods you want to breed that aren't on display, you can just go and buy a rub or something like that from B&M, and they're usually on offer, and it works absolutely fantastically.
Yeah.
So did you keep reptiles before you kept the inverts, Si?
My first ever reptile was, I'll admit, a very poorly looked after Chinese water dragon. So I got one when I was 15, and the shop that sold it to me gave me completely the wrong care advice. That was I loved having it, but looking back at the time, I was kind of doing what I could and the best for it, but every time I kind of went to a couple of reptile shops, they kept giving me, kind of looking back now, misinformation on how to keep it. I really, really enjoyed my time with it, but kind of regret that I wasn't a bit older and, had more knowledge on it. But I've also had, bearded dragons, I've had leopard geckos, still got a few gargoyle geckos, I've got some dart frogs. Yeah, I've still got bits and pieces everywhere. I've got tortoise. So, yeah, we've got enclosures dotted around the house everywhere.
No, that's good. I think it's important. I think it's important to note, isn't it, that a lot of people's first interaction with isopods and springtails and cleanup crews is when they start with big vivs and they need some. We see, speak to a lot of people. Like Nate earlier said that he didn't even know there was more than one species of springtails. Because we just see these tropical springtails that help break stuff down, and they're mad. They are the bane of my life. I've tried to keep oranges 3 times now and just don't do well with it at all. Whilst Andy's just posted that there in the chat, we're doing a discount code for this evening, aren't we, gents?
There is a discount code on our website, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the bugroom.co.uk, and it's a discount until midnight tonight.
Correct.
And the code is Mad Friday. So if you jump over there now, and what size is the discount?
20%.
20%. I think I will take advantage of that later because Dan, I think you've got some banana roaches in stock, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got banana roaches.
Yeah, I need to set a colony of banana roaches up for feeders. So I will take advantage of that discount code later, and we will get that in. Nice one, gents. What do you think's been the main fascination with the isopods and why they've become that? Mike, yes, there are different colour springtails. There are. I tell you what, I don't need to try and explain this, gents. Do you wanna, before we move on, talk about some different coloured springtails?
Jesus, it's not. I don't even think it's just different colours. There's just different species from all over that just. Some of them look wild, just absolutely mental. But there's quite a few funky looking ones in the hobby now, isn't there? So most people have seen the tropical whites and things like that. But we've got lilac ones, we've got yellow ones, we've got orange ones, red ones. Yeah. There's
red and white striped ones as well, aren't there?
Yeah, the Santa Claus ones, yeah.
Nicole Louise has them, and she put them up on Facebook a little while ago. It's like, hang on a minute, this is just getting crazy now. And then there are more arid species to go with it as well.
Yeah. But it's like if you're in your garden and you've got a pile of leaflet on the floor, you flip it over, if you're quick enough, you can see all the springtails jumping about in there. You've got a load of different types in your garden.
I've tried to keep oranges 3 times, and every time they just... I get to the point where it looks like they're failing, and they just get threw into an enclosure somewhere, never to be seen again, and they probably just get out-competed by the tropicals.
I'm going to send you some, Mac. I'll send you some snowflakes. They look like normal tropical ones, but they don't jump. They're a bit bigger, a bit brighter white. And I challenge you, well, I shouldn't say this, that sounds awful, but I'm going to say I challenge you to fail with them. Like, as long as they're not bone dry, and as long as you give them a little bit of food, they're bulletproof. I'd say they're hardier than tropicals. I'll
tell you what, if you send me them, I'll put the order in for the banana roaches this evening, and send them in. And what I'll do is I will add them to my dragon snake enclosure because I've got nothing in there at the moment. It's a virgin setup.
You've got it in there. You got it in.
I have
you
got
managed to mention the dragon snakes. I wonder when it was coming. I did wonder when it was coming.
Yeah, it's brand new. Yeah. So
every episode, there's been a mention of these dragon snakes, and he finally bought them last weekend.
I did.
Oh wow! I'm just googling them now. They look fucking mental. They don't look real.
Dragon snake.
I'd never heard of them, mate. They look ridiculous.
They're next level. Yeah. They are next level.
Can you afford to eat after buying them?
Well, do you know what? They're not even that expensive, right?
Really? Wow.
They cost me £300 each. I picked up 2 of them. So they're not rare because they're expensive. They're rare because people end up keeping them as a wet specimen, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
They don't they don't
They've got a very
habituate.
specific diet.
Yeah.
Okay, what do they eat?
Frogs.
Oh, expensive to keep them.
Tadpoles, frogs.
Yep.
Most people tend to use guppies and fish like that. When reality is they need more of the amphibian based.
Yeah.
It's getting them started on that once they're in captivity, and then trying, and I know Mac's looking at it, to get them onto like frozen thawed frog legs.
Yeah, my frog legs are arriving tomorrow by DPD. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to fillet. I'm wet behind the ears. Wet specimen. Wet specimen, Mike, is where an animal dies and you preserve it in isopropyl.
Yeah.
I can't even say it. Isopropyl alcohol. Alcohol. It's got to be like 98% isopropyl alcohol, and these things will fit in a test tube that size because they're tiny. But
before we go further with that, just so Mike knows, if you go over to the Molinaro Snake Lab, just to give him a shout out, he has guides on how to do wet specimens on his YouTube as well, because it's one of the things he really likes doing.
Yeah.
So these dragon snakes, how big do they get?
2.5 foot. But they're still pencil thin. They're not. They're far from a big-bodied snake.
I think it's time I get my first snake. You know, I think I've fallen in love with it.
Mate, like
They are cool.
they
They look like How to Train Your Dragon.
yeah, toothless. Toothless.
Yeah,
So
toothless, yeah.
they're classed as a primitive snake. There's no other species within the clade Zeodermis. It is its own snake. There's nothing else related to it. There's no other snakes in the world that anything like it. It's been bred more often. It's been bred more now, but up until recent years, like you could count on one hand the amount of people that have bred it. It's never been bred in the UK.
Have you got a pet?
I've got a pair unsexed. There's a lad local to me as well that's got one. That he's managed to get it to 18 months, and he's driving down from Leicester to Ely Exotics tomorrow to pick one up as well. So, yes, they are monotypic. Yeah, they are their own clade, their own species. So it's really cool. It's like I've been working on them for about 18 months, getting an enclosure ready.
This is a sore subject as well.
Yeah, it is. So not this one; it's out in the hall now. But I built up a paludarium for it, 90 by 90, and it's been set up for like 8 to 12 months, and it's got frogs in it, it's got fish in it. It like the bollocks. It's like really like it's matured nicely to the point where like I don't even have to do a water change on it. It's that fucking good, and I got them, and like my son is 9 years old, and he's got bigger shoelaces than these snakes. I was like, I cannot put them into a 90 by 90. So then Sunday, I was in a bit of a fucking stress because I then had to try and put together a suitable enclosure for 2 wild caught dragon snakes. So it was I've done it, and it looks bollocks, and I'm dead happy with it. But yeah, it was a bit of a stressful Sunday. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, Mike. Yeah, absolutely.
So are you going to put paludarium?
So well, I put Hyla cinereas in it, the American green tree frog, so they're still in there. And I'll just leave them in there and see if they breed. But the bottom of it's also full of Rania temperaria, which is the common European frog. So that's full of tadpoles that I acquired. So I'm going to be overrun with common frogs.
This is what happens with animals, isn't it? You just end up going absolutely wild and just end up with everything.
Yeah.
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 And there's so many rabbit holes you can go down, not just with the inverts, but with the reptiles as well. And even then, you've got the aquatics, you've got the mammals, avian, if you really want to go down that route. There's just so many things you can fall into without even realising.
Yeah. I bought myself a nice fancy fogger for them as well, and it said that it had app capability. It said it could monitor temperature, monitor humidity. I was like, yes, let's go for it. Brought it from a agricultural shop, shall we say?
Okay. A pro shop.
And it coming. No. You need the extra bit of kit to access the Wi-Fi capabilities.
It's funny you say that because I maybe went to the same grow shop as you. I've got two fans that they've got like wind settings and stuff. They oscillate.
Yep.
And like, yeah, you've got Wi-Fi and you've got this. But then I got the fans. It says you need to buy this controller separately. I was like,
Spider Farmer.
I can't remember. I'll have to check. I remember speaking to someone on WhatsApp for a bit, and then I was confused for a little bit, and then I thought, oh, when they're like, why are my messages disappearing? And I was like, yeah, because of their customer base.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I spent, I think it's like 150 quid on these two massive fans, and thinking, I can do all this. Fuck all.
It does measure the humidity, so I've got it set at like 90% humidity, so it will kick in if the humidity drops below that, which is fine. But I also wanted it to kick in if the temperature raised too high, because another thing with the dragon snakes is they don't do well with high heat. They live on the water edges of the fast flowing streams and rivers, thick undergrowth of the Indonesian islands, so they don't deal with like high temperatures very well because they don't see the open air that much. So I'll probably end up having to buy the controller, but the controller's the exact same price as the fogger. They ain't daft, are they?
Unless you bought it as the kit.
Well, even still, there's not much difference in the kit, really. I think it's 114 quid for the kit, and I think buying them separate, it's like 125, 130 quid. So there's not a massive saving to get pissed off about that. Anyway, enough of dragon snakes and that sort of stuff. Back onto isopods. So I was going to ask, why do you think isopods have become so popular over the last 2-3 years?
I think it's like Dan said before. It's this Pokemon thing, where once you get one, you just want to catch them all. And I think that's it. It's so addictive. It is addictive. Space
as well. I think you nailed it earlier. The space. I've got a 3x3 enclosure here. Realistically, there's probably a good 9-litre rub. You're probably getting like 25 rubs in there.
Yeah. Just looking at a rack for a. Got a rack there, and it's got 68 rubs on it.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's just isopods.
Yeah, just on a single rack. Then there's 7 racks in here.
Yeah, and I think that is it. I think you are right when you see them, and they are cool. And some of the colours as well. We're not just talking like muted colours, are we? We are talking vibrant pinks, greens, yellows. There are so many colours and variations and patterns that pop as well. They're not the browns that you get out from the leaf litter outside, are they?
No, there are certainly some crazy looking ones out there, and it's mad because it seems like every week there's a new one as well. So you can never catch up.
And now you're starting to get morphs of them as well, aren't you, with some of the species? So like the pandas, they're starting to get in different colours, variations of the pandas.
Yeah, there's 20 different types of bloody panda now as well, like probably literally as well. Everything within everything. It's kind of like the royal side of thing, I think, still, though, the morphs, like, it's still pretty much in its infancy. Like, I remember back in the day, like, I used to also look at Marcus Jane reptiles.
Yeah.
The Canadian.
He's one of my inspirations for a combination that I'm chasing.
Well, this is it. So back in the day, at least myself and people I used to speak to, this is probably 15, 20 years ago, you just think there was a lot of people said, there's just 2 genes with them to begin with. So, for example, you put a pastel with a spider. I know that's not a thing anymore, but you get a bumblebee, and then someone made the killer bee, and they're like, what? You can have 3 genes? And then it was like, no, what, can you? And then it's obviously all the way down now. They can have, I don't even know how many genes you can put into a royal. But I think in terms of the isopods, yes, we do have the different localities and different colour morphs and such, but it's still very much in its infancy as to people actually having projects, trying to breed different types of colours to make different things. That's what there's a gentleman called Mark Titterton. He's kept isopods for I think over 20 years now. He's based in the UK, and he's got a lot of, let's say, world firsts that have all come out of him just being like line breeding certain things, and then obviously experimenting with different things. And it's funny because you see, obviously it's probably the same with a lot of reptiles and stuff as well, where he sells certain stuff really cheap because he's bred it for ages, he's got loads, and then you see that someone's managed to get it in America or Japan, and it's going for hundreds and hundreds of quid for 10, whereas Mark's selling them for like 8-10 quid on his website. So it's very much in its infancy at the moment, but still, like Si says, like every day there's something new. It's just impossible to keep up with, and I think I'm at that point now where I'm like, I've got nearly 200 types. I don't often now see stuff where I'm like, oh wow, I need that. But then that little bit of ADHD in me, which I think most of us have really got with this hobby, now I'm like, oh, look at all these millipede colours. Wow. And then like these two localities, both from Africa, but very, very different. And yeah.
I'm at a certain point now where it's just like I've got enough. I know I've got too many. But at the same time, if something really, really nice pops up, I'm like, yeah, I've got the space for one more.
Yeah.
You just keep that.
We had this conversation with, and we're not promoting irresponsible buying and purchasing and whatnot whatsoever, but like the wife constantly says to me, "You are buying no more animals," and it's like there's always a catch to it. Always like I always find some way of navigating around her no more animals. So she used to say, "You're not buying any more animals," and then I would just get given them, like genuinely get given them, and I was like, "Well, I didn't buy them," and she's like. It's not the point. I said, you told me we're not to buy them. I'm not buying them. So now it's like, you're not bringing any more animals in. So like, I would get to the point where I'd take one out and then bring one back. And I was like, you said I couldn't bring any more in. Like, there's no more animals, and it's just constantly finding that loophole with the missus. And she puts up with some shit. I'll give her a due. She puts up with some shit, but she lets me get away with it.
The good thing about me and my missus is we're both the same, is we'll both do exactly the same thing. So we'll just go, right, no more animals for a while now. We'll just not get anything else, and then we'll both secretly order. We won't tell each other, and then just parcels will turn up with both of our names on. Like, what the hell have you ordered? She says the same thing to me, and we just can't stop it.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. The good thing with the reptiles though is I am running out of space. We're not just talking a little rub, so it's good. But saying that, I have got 3 empty vivs currently, so
I think that's what happens with reptiles, that you end up with empty vivs and you just like, they start soon piling up and you've got 3 or 4 empty ones, and then you fall down a rabbit hole of researching an animal, and then you get that one and you're setting up the next one. Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
You never get rid of a viv. It just stays empty.
Absolutely not, because I've got 2 here on the side that are to go into the shed. And when we were talking about how I was going to move stuff around, she's like, "We can get rid of them too." I said, "Hang on, they can go in the shed. I'm not getting rid of them." And I was like, I was dead upset. She's like, "Get rid of them." She's like, "I didn't mean sell them." I was like, "Oh, thank God for that." I was like, we can't get rid of them. No, there might be something that props up next week. She's like, "There's no more animals, Peter."
We moved to this house 4 years ago, and in our old house we had 3 vivs in the loft. And when we moved in, she was like, "You need to get rid of them." I was like, no, we'll keep them. I'll use them one day. They've stayed in the shed there for 4 years, and I still will not get rid of them, because I know one day the time will come.
Yeah.
I'll go, I can get rid of them.
The minute you get rid of them, the option will arise.
Yeah.
Do you think there was one specific isopod that sort of started the craze?
Rubber duckies, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
And as much as it's all changed, like, again, going back to what Andy said about the red pandas, different pandas. Red pandas, about 2 years ago, were 300 quid for 10. and then now they're about 45 quid for 10, some probably even 35 some places. Whereas, and that's generally what happens with all isopods. And we get to a certain point, a lot of them, where I think the sweet spot for a lot of the Porcellio ones especially is around about like £10, £20. Like once they get to that point, they'll stay there. But as much as I've seen this all change and been quite frustrated over the years, where you buy something for hundreds, and then by the time you've got babies, you're like, yeah, it's not really worth selling now. Rubber duckies have never changed in value. Like to a certain extent, like some people sometimes sell them now a little bit cheaper, but in all the years I've been in the hobby, they've always been around 100 quid for 10, and that's never something that's changed. And it's if a lot of people that don't understand isopods are not in that world, a lot of them will say, "Oh, you keep fancy isopods. Oh, do you have them ones that look like ducks?" So they are like the poster boy for the hobby. I'd say 100%, 100%.
Yeah, then they are great though.
Yeah, I've got that I know of 4 species. So I've got powdered blues and powder oranges. I've got giant oranges, and I've got dwarf whites. And that's my limit, because they're all about that £10 for 30, £30 for 100, and they're feeders for me. They do a job in the bottom of the viv, but all my animals would see that as a snack. So I can't justify spending serious amount of money on something that's just going to end up down a lizard's neck. So like, when I'm asking for isopods, they're like, oh yeah, we've got these, and it's like, hang on a minute, let me stop you. What disposable ones have you got? Because they will become food. So they will. I've got dairy cows. Yaz sorted me out some dairy cows, didn't she? I had 100 dairy cows off of Yaz that went round as well. She's our dairy cow queen. So she is.
She seems to breed them like they're going out of fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've had them for a week, you've got 200 now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the joke we had with Gary, wasn't it? When he didn't turn up.
Yeah. So like me and Dean got them pretty much the same day, really fucking sharpish. And then Gary was waiting for like 5-6 days. Just his post was abysmal. So, but the joke was like, don't worry, Gary, when you get it, there are doubled in numbers. So it was
100%, yeah, 100%. It's like mustache is like a selfish question. I know this is meant to be a little bit different this podcast, but as much as you guys know within the hobby and what is legal as well, like the UK laws, let's be honest, are quite lax in a lot of places. Like you can get some pretty outrageous animals without a DWA, without anything.
Yeah.
Have you two got anything that is like, if you had all the room, all the time, is there any animal that you'd be like, this is what I want to get? Like, if time and space and money wasn't an issue, what would you do?
I have 3.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Blue Insularis, which is a viper.
Komodo dragon,
venomous.
Komodo Island pit viper, and they are they're stunning. They're blue.
They are literally shiny. What was the film? Zootopia. The second one they just brought out. That's the snake that I'm talking about was actually one of the main characters in that. But wow. They are very, very big. Alligator snapper. But obviously, the size of the pond I'd need as it got older is what stops me from doing that, and a crocodile monitor.
Do you know what? I'm pretty boring. So I am. So, like my first sort of grail animal, if you would, was the dragon snakes. I've been planning them for a long time. And then building the paludarium up for the dragon snakes, and having the turtle, I then realised how much I missed my fish aquariums. I used to do fish aquariums about 15 years ago. So I've started to find that sort of really happy middle ground with the reptiles that have got an affinity to water. So they that paludarium, that riparium connection. So the next two on my list would be a Borneo earless monitor. And they're not even monitors, but they are, and again, very much like the dragon snake, where I don't think there's anything else that's related to them. They're their own clade. And then the third one would be a crocodile tegu, which is from the Amazon. So they don't get massively big. They live in close proximity to the water. They act very much like a crocodile, swim like a crocodile. And that's where I'm sort of finding my real, and like I say, passion. Like, it gets thrown around a lot, doesn't it? Like, oh, you really got the passion for that, but like I really, really find myself drawn to that sort of connection with the reptiles in the water that covers, like the turtle downstairs. She's got a 5-foot tank. We've got the sump on it, and we've got red rainbow fish in there. We've got Congo tetras in there. So. We keep her well fed so she doesn't snack on anything, and it looks the bollocks. Really, really happy with it. And then Shinosaurus, actually, that would probably be something else I would consider. And again, because of that connection with water.
No, that's cool. I had, like I said, I think I said before the podcast when we were on about some other stuff. I had a snapper. I got it from one of the last IHS shows, actually. In fact, it was the last Doncaster IHS show. I had it up until just before Christmas, I think it was, and then it randomly passed, and I was so upset. I think I genuinely did have a bit of a cry because I was so attached to the animal. And then the next day, the different emotions started, and we're like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna smash this tank up. I'm gonna smash this tank," because I was like, "No, it's gonna replace it. It's a massive tank, and what? I don't want to look at it." And unfortunately for someone, fortunately for them, I guess, don't know, it depends how you look at it. Someone quite local put on one of the community things on Facebook that their turtle tank was leaking. Could anyone help, like, fix it? And I was like, you can just take my tank. Just take my tank, help me.
Yeah.
But no, I want a falsie. I know it's not nowhere near what you guys have said, but it's just
nothing wrong with false water cobras. Nothing wrong with them at all.
I think what I'd do, though, in fact, I know what I'll do is, well, sorry, I shouldn't say that because it's really awkward, because I'm off to Jordan's tomorrow, and if he's got one, I probably will get it, because I've ordered a massive tank now for the Redfoot that the missus and my little girl's got, so the tank's spare now. But I'd love to have an animal like that. Like, say, it's almost like a hot animal, but it's not at the same time. Like, obviously, you still got to respect it, still don't want to get bitten, but it's not got that same consequences.
Have you seen Dave Sharp, Nature Boy, on YouTube? I'll send you his channel. He's a big advocate for the falsies. And he says he prefers the falsies over the fucking hell, it'll come to me in a minute.
You got to remember, Mike in the comments, our comments, he's got falsy as well. He's a big advocate for falsies as well.
What's the dry marcons? What's the common name for them? Indigos.
The indigos.
Yeah, so Dave Sharp, he says he prefers his falsies over the indigo snakes. So,
what I want to do, or what I would, it's kind of one of those little weird things where, not weird, but like, I'd like to get one and grow it up, but then at the same time as well, you see so many get put up for adoption.
Yeah.
People like the idea of them, and then when it becomes a reality, they're like, shit, what do I do with it?
Oh, 100%. They're not to be fucked around with, 100%, yeah.
So I think it'd be much better to get a rehomed one, to be able to rehome one. So at the same time, I don't know if you guys are the same, but just with any animal I can. I know I shouldn't. This is not a great thing to say, but I love watching the process with it.
It's also you get that bond with them. I mean, I'm pro for rehome where it works for people, but at the same time, if you are going to want the animal that much, you're going to put the work in with it from the start. you get a better bond. Because I don't care what anyone says, these animals do bond with you. They either hate you or they love you, don't get me wrong, but they have more capacity than people give them credit for.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like one of the most intelligent animals I've ever had. It's definitely a lot more intelligent than this dog I've got now. Is Savannah monitor. Bloody great.
Yeah.
You know, it had its own room. It had a Viv in the room, but you'd open the door because I'd leave the tank open a bit, and it'd genuinely run out to you. Obviously not without a lot of work, but you know, yeah, it was great. And then second one a green tree python, but again at the same time, I want to be able to see the colour change.
Yeah,
the automatic colour change. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost a shame that they do change.
Yeah.
The problem is there's so many things out there. I mean, I could literally sit here and talk to you for hours on different snakes, different reptiles, different amphibians, and all sorts that I want. And I know 99% of it is unachievable because of space, money, time. I have to work. I've got 3 kids, and I've only got a finite amount of space in my house.
How old's the youngest, Andy?
She's 6.
Okay, so 10 years. Boot her out, and you got 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, but you know, I've still got to wait for 10 years, and then it's knowing my luck, they won't leave.
Or get a corn snake, and it'll size her up, and it'll want to eat her.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got corn snake already, so I've got that problem covered.
Yeah, good. Decent. Dan, there is lots of support for you to pick up a falsie in the chat. Mike's exotic, do it, Dan, the race. Wilson's exotic, Donna, do it. Mike saying his girl's a sweetheart. Lee, falsie just needs a big tank and feed him more often. Falsies are amazing. I love my boy. He's like a dog. Lee agrees with you, Andy, that he had his boy as a baby and knows who I am. SKBFD, howdy, good evening, welcome in. Animal addictive, do it, Dan. There are lots of comments for you to pick up a falsie tomorrow.
You gotta do it now, mate.
I think Jordan has one. I mean, if he doesn't, then there is a rehoming centre that I want to go see in a few weeks. I speak to the owner quite a lot, but I've never been. I know he's got 2 at the moment. But yeah, Jordan's always got stuff. So he probably will.
If Jordan hasn't got it, you'll know who has and where it can come from. Yeah. Do you know what?
I've just messaged him.
What, asked him?
Yeah.
In our WhatsApp community, I would like to say that we are advocates for not pressuring people to get animals, but it's all we seem to do, and it seems to have carried on over to the YouTube chat tonight. So I think you did either the right thing or the wrong thing, but it's definitely tipping the scales in the favour of picking up a falsie. If you do, you'll have to drop us a photo and let us know what you got.
All the bite marks on my hand.
The bite marks on your hand, yeah. When it comes to all my questions seem to be about pods. So when I refer to pods, like just imagine like your whole inventory. So is there like when you want to start getting into this level of inverts, is there like are there beginner species or are they all pretty much the same, or are there harder to care for ones?
There's definitely a gradient on there. There's definitely ones that I would and wouldn't recommend to a lot of people, but being honest with you, like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes especially when there's a new type of animal pod discovered, and people are, oh, it's really hard to keep and blah blah blah. Sometimes that can be because it isn't captive bred, so it's not used to the substrates, it's not used to the foods that we're able to offer and things like that. So if you look back at even like Reddits or WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, whatever, a few years ago, certain things where people are like, oh, it's impossible to keep, it keeps dying, it's impossible to breed. Now, that same species is very easy to keep. That isn't, me and Si wouldn't then just say, oh yeah, you can have anything that we've got because it's captive bred, blah, blah, blah. There's still definitely ones that are easier to keep than others. But you'd be surprised more than not that most things are fine for beginners. The biggest issue that I find with pods and people, the more expensive the pod is, the more they mess about with it. So, for example, if you bought something for a £5, you might be fine, still really like it, but still just check it every few days. Spot on. Whereas people who buy rubber duckies or other things like that, like 100 quid for 10, every few days, are they still there? Are they still there? Sorry, every day, are they still there? And they get so stressed, and the watering them every day, which they don't need doing, and things like that. It's just too much, and I think people forget that they genuinely most of the cubaras, they live on batshit and decomposing stuff in the wild. They don't live in a nice rosy environment, and this, like, I'll be very honest with you, I've got 2 different rooms now, and one room is more showy, like you can definitely see a lot more of them. That room actually doesn't do as well, because there's more foot traffic as well, as the other room, which is basically a massive cupboard, where they've got the fans, they've got the ventilation, they've got the heat, but there's no traffic. There's no. I'm only checking on once every 4 or 5 days, and I think that is honestly the biggest issue people have. It's that they do it for the right intentions, but it's that just checking on stuff far too often, disturbing it. Like you sometimes have with digging through the substrate trying to find it and other bits like that. They're not complicated animals. Like,
No.
there is, for the most part, they're not difficult to keep. They're not, like, Si could pass me something today, and as long as I'm familiar with the genus, like, it's not really going to be any different to the other genus that
I think
I have. Go on, mate.
the problem is if you are a new keeper, I think you almost get a certain level of anxiety when you've got something that, say, cost you, a couple of £100 for some isopods, and you never kept isopods before. Of course you're going to be in there looking, going, is it okay? Do I need to spray it? And that's where you're over-spraying it. You're overthinking everything. And the more you mess with it, the more harm you're doing. Whereas you said, the best thing to do is set it up, give it a spray, whatever, leave it for, 3-5 days, then check it.
I'm just going to bring this in. This little tubbit here, I've got, I've just looked up the name, the Lorna Duran Spiky. I probably butchered the name. I picked up 5 of them at the Taunton show, and I open the tub and check it once a week. I'll give it a wipe down. I've actually not sprayed it since I set it up. It's got that much moisture in it and plants growing and stuff like that. And I open it up, give it a once over, chuck in a bit of bee pollen, chuck in a bit of maybe a cricket that's died or something like that, and then walk away for a week.
Perfect.
And like you say, that the issue is those 200 quid online, some maybe even more.
I did not pay that. I did not pay that before my missus blows up because she's in the chat. That is not what I paid.
You paid 500 quid, didn't you?
Yeah, the website prices, not the show prices. Shows, I would say, a really low price, but then people would be pissed off on when they got the BTS and like, Dan says these are worth 15 quid. But exactly that, they're an expensive pod that people are like, oh, they're really hard to keep. But no, they're just overcomplicated. Like you said then, doing very little with it, that's the best thing to do with them. It really is.
I had some rubber duckies, and I bought 10. Chucked them in a rub. And again, it was once a week they got checked on. I ended up selling the entire colony. I think there was about 50 in the colony when I sold it 6 months later because I needed an incubator. My incubator packed up, so I traded the colony for an incubator, and that solved that problem. But my daughter's got some rubber duckies upstairs in her room, and she probably checks them once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Just because there's no point pandering them, because otherwise you're going to cause issues.
So, yeah, I went through a very, call it what it is, I went through a very fortunate stage at one point where I was selling a 5 count or a 10 count on the website every day. And because I post Monday to Thursday, it was like, so obviously Monday packing, Tuesday packing, Wednesday packing, and it genuinely got to Thursday, I couldn't find any. I was like, this makes no sense. like they are in a 32-litre tub, but I've got a lot. This doesn't make any sense. But it was just because they were so stressed, because obviously they know that, flicking this cork every day, we shouldn't hide there because this guy comes and takes us out like the bloody claw machine on Toy Story. But yeah, left the tub for 2 weeks, didn't touch it, and then boom, all back there, all happy again. So yeah, less is more, definitely, with these.
You don't realise, because with reptiles, with your snakes and stuff like that, you see behaviours that are stressed out, and you notice it more. But you don't put that with your bugs. People don't think that.
Exhibit the same signs. It's like the little one's royal. She loves it, and once every very, very, very rare time, it'll make a bit of a noise when you're going to get it out, and it looks a bit defensive. You're like, right, leave it. Let's just leave it. It's once every few months that'll happen. But like you say, you can see that it's not wanting to have that interaction, so you just pack it in. Whereas, like you say, the isopods can't exhibit those kind of signs, so they might be screaming out in turn like, piss off. Not today, mate.
I've got a giant mint leg as well, a centipede. And that thing I never see. The fact I never see it, I know it's happy. It's in its little burrow. So I'll open it up once a week, chuck some food in, I'll drop it in the burrow, you watch it grab it coil around, walk away. And it's happy. And I know it comes out at night because I've got grass growing in there. So I planted grass seed and it moves around. So the grass will be flattened one way and then flattened another way the next time.
No, not for me.
So I know it's happy. Well, as happy as it can be, but you know what I mean. It's comfortable and it's doing well. And I think it might be a gravid female with the way it's just grown up on its back end.
It's amazing, centipedes. Like, I had one a few years ago, and just as a bit of a joke, I was just like, you're a twat. I want to see how much of a twat you are. I threw in 3 locusts 10 seconds after each other. It grabbed all 3 and killed all 3. And it didn't eat the other 2, it just ate one of them. But I was like, you just, yeah. Not again, never again.
I've got the giant mint leg. I bought that as an adult, as a wild caught adult. I got that from Spider Shop.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine picked me up a little rainbow, one of the more arid ones. I mean, that's only about that sort of size at the moment.
I don't even know you had the second one.
Yeah, no, I got the second one. And the other day I sprayed it, because it's an arid enclosure, it gets sprayed maybe twice a week. I let it dry out a little bit more. It's got some sphagnum that it can hide in if it needs a bit of moisture. But I was just stood there watching it go around, drinking the droplets off the side of the enclosure, and it's absolutely fascinating. Most people go, that's creepy, but it's amazing watching how nature actually works.
No, Andy.
I've been thinking about getting one, but they do freak me out, but also they do fascinate me as well.
I used to be petrified of them.
Yeah.
I just decided one day, you know what, I'm going to get one, because the only way I'm going to get over this fear is by having one. I am public enemy number 1 in the house from my missus, and I know everyone sort of says all this, that, and the other. I've got in a tarantula cribs enclosure. It's one of the sliding roof ones with the magnets. It's 12 inches deep. It cannot get out of there. And I love that enclosure because it's so clear with the acrylic. I can see everything going on in there.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I say, like I said earlier about display tanks. That's something that needs a decent display tank. That is not something you want in a little rub that you're going to open the lid and go, well, where is it? I need to be able to see where it is at any one time when I'm going in there.
Yeah, 100%.
And I can see Dan's agreeing with me on that one.
Yeah, I had one of the Venomous Visions tanks, and it was a double lidded enclosure.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is this? To Tony there, and he was like, oh, because you open one, and it knows it's getting fed, or it knows it's open, so we often dart out. And yeah, they're very, very smart. So yeah,
they're ridiculous.
100% need to know where they fucking are. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this one, it's 18 by 12 by 12. It's in. The substrate's probably about 4 or 5 inches deep. When I put it in there, I let it run around, and it could get up to the top, but it wouldn't have enough strength to move it. But with the 4 magnets and the sliding lid, it has to get behind it to slide it off the magnets. And I can't think of anything that would be. I struggle to open that bloody thing sometimes.
I would have a chalice round it. there is no way on earth. No
This
way
is
on
something I
earth.
actually mentioned on Scott's podcast when I was on that a little while ago. Because obviously I know everyone's a bit anti the communal thing with certain species, but whether you keep like the mint legs communally without sexing them in order to reproduce them in captivity, I mean, you need a big enough enclosure, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking just chucking 3 into a 12, 12, 18. I'm talking you want maybe 4 or 5 in a 6 by 2 by 2 sort of setup to try it.
And that's it, isn't it? That's it, especially like you say with the centipedes, especially when. Don't want to speak ill of anyone here, but I'm not aware of really. Well, I know Tony from Venomous Visions does breed some, but there's hardly anyone that breeds them. Hardly anyone breeds them. So there's still a lot to be learned about them.
It's sexy them. You basically got to kill them
You've got
to be able
gas
to
them,
sex them.
Yeah,
Or drown them. You drown them or you could gas them. And if you go too far, they're dead. If you don't go far enough, they wake up too quick and you're dead. Yeah,
well, Tony said once that I think they can play dead as well. So gas them if you don't give them enough. Yeah, halfway through, like,
No, absolutely
not. No, there's no way. No way. I'm allergic to
hog noses.
Hog noses. So there is no way on earth I can have anything like that because I would be dead. 100% I would be dead.
Could you imagine the horror of opening up an enclosure with a centipede and just finding it missing?
No, I can't.
Don't say that because it's just going to be something else that plays on my missus' mind now.
I would have ratchet straps around it. I'm telling you. Honestly, I would weld it shut.
Motion sensors around it.
Yeah, I would. I really would.
Well, we've got the rehousing video on our Instagram, haven't we, of when I did it? I literally had my fingers in the container with it. It was that chilled out.
No. Nope.
No, you've got to leave it. Live birth.
I mentioned earlier about like the couple of different species of isopods that I've got. Are there any others that you would recommend for cleanup crews? For something that, like for vegetarian lizards, stuff that isn't going to eat them. So maybe something a little bit more expensive, other than your powdered orange blues, giant oranges sort of thing.
Depends very much on the setup, to be honest with you. Because obviously how wet or dry you're keeping the animal.
Yeah.
Really, like the Ardentilia isopods, which are quite expensive, you're usually paying anywhere between 100 and 200 quid for 10. A lot of people successfully keep those in bioactive, bio-assisted tanks. So you can, there's genuinely a lot you can do with the right enclosure, to be honest with you. But yes, Sai, have you had any interesting tales over the years where people have got anything really exotic, or?
Do you know what? When people, so I get quite a lot of inquiries where people will see something that looks very, very fancy and very, very expensive, and they'll want to use it as their first setup for a bio-assisted vivarium or something, and I just completely push them away from it. Just say no. You're going to end up gutted. Because if something eats it, you're just going to be fuming. Or if it doesn't, or if it just doesn't work out well and your care's not right, they're going to die, or they're not going to do very well, and they're going to die over time. It's just not going to be worth it. So I always push them towards, the standard cleanup crews that you see, what everyone uses, like your powdered species and things like that. They work best. And I find that they've got enough of an appetite to actually make a difference in a bio-assisted setup, whereas I think a lot of the more expensive species, like I would never recommend using Cubaris for anything, because they don't eat enough.
They rely on a lot of limestone as well, don't they, for their diet, the Cubaris stuff?
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to make much of a dent, like we were saying with yourself, and with that, nothing's going to make much of a dent. But even if you've got, some sort of, small species of whatever, you're going to have hundreds of them to actually be able to clear up after something to actually work.
So, and that's why we go back to the assist point, isn't it? Because, I mean, I'm just looking at the comments here, and Lee said what Isopod would use the falsies cleanup crew, big poos. Obviously, nothing's going to eat that. You're still going to have to pick that out, but you haven't got to be as thorough when it comes to the urates and the little bits that you miss. Because anyone who's kept snakes knows they do not shit in one big lump. They like to leave little bits everywhere just to catch you off guard.
Yeah, and then going back to that, you know, as much as obviously the false has always been a dream pet and you want the enclosure to look amazing, it still has to be functional. So even with all the pods I've got at my disposal, I'd still go for powders. You know, the great thing is about the rainbow mix that a lot of us do is, you know, you get a nice variety of different colours and patterns, but they've got a voracious appetite. But then at the same time, if you go away for 2 weeks or whatever, you know, you don't have to worry about, who's going to pop in and put a bit of food in there or whatever. That, you know, they're very, very hardy animals. And, you know, to be very honest with you, like, as many pods as I've got on the website, you know, most of the sales that I get are for like your zebras, your magic potions, your gastroids, your normal panda kings, your dairy cows, you know, for more of those lower end ones, because, you know, they still look really nice, but exactly like Si says, you know, they serve a much better function for the most part in bioactive environments, especially because you're not having to supplement their diet with the more specialist foods that you do need for some of them, and they can literally just live on what is available for them in the enclosure. And, you know, some as well, you know, but some people even breed like dairy cows, for example, with great source of calcium and protein for chickens. So I throw them in for the redfoots every so often. I don't think they're clean.
I've got pygmy dormice. I feed them dairy cows every day. They love them.
They can forage for them as well, can't they? That's the beauty.
Yeah. I buy live African soft-furred rats, and I breed them for hatchling season, and then I euthanize myself. But whenever we come to the end of a feeder box, because I buy my insects in bulk, I always emptied that bulk into the rodents, because they will scavenge everything out of that, whether it's a dead one or a live one. And then obviously I do my clean on the rodents the next day. But yeah, that's where all mine goes. And like again with the dormice, that they love it. And if I go to the pet shop, I'll buy some not Morio worms, mealworms for the rats as well. And like you just see them, because the mealworms bury down. The rats go absolutely mental for them, trying to find them. And it'll be the same for the isopods, won't it? They will just they'll forage for it. It's natural enrichment.
Yeah, I find for the dormice, just give them as big a varied diet as I can, and, you know, throwing a handful of isopods in there with some red runners and some mealworms all at the same time. They're, you know, going mental, jumping around everywhere. But you can see, you know, it's really good enrichment for them.
Yeah.
I've got a tank next to me with African fire skinks. There's 3 of them in there. I challenge anyone to find all 3 at any one time, but because they're wild caught, I decided that I'd do it. So again, we're going to bio-assisted, but they've got earthworms, Morio worms. They've got different types of grubs thrown in there. 3 or 4 different species of isopod that I never see. There might be none left. They might be thriving. I don't know. There's springtails. I chuck in calci worms. We end up with soldier flies periodically. Different types of roaches running around there, because that way they can act as naturally as they would have done before I got them.
Yeah, I'm laughing because that's exactly what I do with my assassin bugs. My assassin bugs are in like an 80-litre tub, so they've got everything in there. Yeah. Like whenever I've fed like the snake, sorry, not the snake. Wow. Whenever I've fed like the Balfouri communal that we've got or anything else, there's a few of whatever left. Just throw it in there. There's always food in there, but like you say, it's that enrichment, isn't it? It's that variety. It's that.
Talking of assassin bugs, I've got a few of the horrids.
Yeah.
and I'm hoping to get them going. But I threw some crickets in there last week, and I just watched 3 of them take one cricket down together. It's fantastic seeing them actually attack as a group.
As a group, yeah.
That's really. I love that when I kept them, just watching all of them go for one thing and watching them drag it round the enclosure as if it was nothing.
And they take it down in a group, so it doesn't matter how big that prey item is. They will take it down as a group. The only thing I found with them is they won't touch locusts. So roaches and crickets, fine. If I put locusts in there, they ignore them.
I've fed my locusts. I think I have.
I used to feed mine locusts all the time.
I'm just going off the experience I have with them.
No.
So
the locusts, they didn't go anywhere near.
Mine are not horrid, to be fair. Mine are the white spotted ones.
Yeah, I think that they were generally the same, to be honest. When I had both, and I used to keep them relatively close to each other, so I used to feed them at the same time. I found that the Horrider had a more rapid feeding response than the white spot.
Alan from Memorable Misfits says, speaking of roaches, thank you, Dan. The banana roaches arrived, expertly packed, all alive and well. Thank you.
High standards for Max banana roaches now set.
I've ordered them. Mate. I've ordered them.
I saw it pop up. I was like, how? Like, I'm crap at multitasking. You'd know if I were doing something in the background.
Yeah,
I saw it pop up on the email. I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, cheers, mate.
They're done. Yeah. Well, it said one lot left, so I just picked the biggest lot.
As you do.
Yeah. So yeah, Lee says before his chameleon passed, his favourite hobby was catching rogue tropical orange isopods that venture high up. I actually got some of the Lee's tropical oranges, and they're in all the enclosures. Just spread them around. But yeah, no, it's good. But yeah, I want to grow the banana roaches up so I can have some additional food for everything as well.
My only thing is, remember, fly. It does my head in that.
They are. I kept them once, and I do want them again for the sail fin, because obviously he will love things flying and chasing it. But you open that lid, and you are then chasing them around the house for the next 45 minutes.
I tub them up in the enclosure. It's got like a side opening enclosure. Luckily, the top doesn't make any sense. Put the 8-ounce tub in it and get them in, then put them off.
Do you know what? The fact that the fly will be ace because the tokays will go nuts for them. On an evening, I'll put them in before we switch the lights out. Big Bruce will have a field day. Your
keel bellies will go mad for them as well.
Yeah, I've left the lights on for the room, but they've took themselves off. One of them jumped off earlier. But yeah, she's hanging upside down asleep at the minute. She bit me earlier, didn't she? Fucker.
Yeah,
so she's looking fat though, isn't she? Looking fat.
Yeah. Hopefully it is eggs and not just a beast.
Yeah. Well, no, she's not a beast. Fucking hell. The next sort of bullet points I've got is Springtails, the unsung heroes, because everyone goes mad for the isopods, and I think Springtails are like, yeah, they look cool, and then people like the look of them, but like there's so much versatility to what they actually do as well, within bioassisted vivariums and terrariums. They are less glamorous, they're not as big, but like super important, aren't they?
I think it's just natural progression as well within a hobby. I think as vast as the world is, there's still so much yet to be discovered with all types of animals. With all types of animals, like I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but me and Lee, the owner of Spider Shop, get on really well. And the other week he was like, "Look, mate, I've got this isopod from Africa. Do you want some?" I was like, "Never even heard of them as a genus, let alone the species." And so I got them. I'll have to send you some pictures, Si, tomorrow. Not took any pictures yet. I think they came Tuesday or Wednesday, but I was like, they look like nothing like anything I've ever kept before. And it was a similar thing like with the Springtails, that for years and years you'd only have the whites and then the oranges came about, and then now that's quickly snowballing. Like, there's temperate ones that you have to like keep in the fridge to make them breed, like massive blue ones. There's dozens and dozens even of them now. So I do think give it a year or two, and that will be similar to isopods in the sense that there's a lot of different types, a lot of different variations. But exactly like you said, Matt, I have springtails in every container that I have that's got animals in them, because not only do they help obviously break down the waste from even the isopods waste, but they also help with the balance of like pH and stuff because of what they break down within the substrate to help stop mold and fungi and things like that. And as much as we said before, certain isopods are better because they can eat more, generally because the isopods are bigger or whatever. It's not always the case. It's very similar to the springtails, and the biggest limiting factor I have with the springtails I keep is just feeding them. In the sense that, like, if you feed them enough and you give them heat, they will breed like mad. So yeah, I think it, like you say, they are very undervalued at the moment, very underappreciated, and it's almost like an afterthought from people. A lot of people, like when a lot of people come up, especially at the shows, and say, "Oh, I've got this spider, or I've got this tarantula. What isopod do you recommend you keep with it?" And they're quite shocked when most of the time you're like, "I won't keep any isopod with that animal that you've got because once that sheds, it's very dangerous." So your answer is dwarf whites, which are springtail-sized isopods, or isopods.
And they get everywhere.
Yeah, because obviously, as you know, the parthenogenic. So yeah, you've got one, and the end of February. Yeah,
I have.
When
I sell an animal, I always have to have a conversation. Like my reptile room is mixed, so I haven't just got the royals. I have proper built vivariums, all the rest of it. I said, so if you get your royal and there is a tiny animal on it, crawling on it, it's not a mite. It is going to be either a wood mite, or it is going to be a isopod, or it's going to be a springtail. Please, please, please don't start worrying that I've got mites, because I can tell you now, 100% haven't got mites, but I do have a room, and no matter how well you keep enclosures closed, they still get out. They still find a way everywhere. Last season, I had a clutch of royal python eggs, and I went and set the tub up brand new. So the tub wasn't in the... I artificially incubated in the incubator. So I went and got the perlite in the tub, made it all up, picked the eggs out, put the eggs in, and then put it in the incubator. Several weeks later, one of the eggs is going bad, and no word of a lie, I opened it up and it was covered in springtails, because there was obviously springtails that come with the eggs out the enclosure, and then because one of the eggs was going mouldy, that was it. It just went mental.
So with the dwarf whites, they're in a separate room to the two rooms I mentioned. I wash my hands before. I don't know why I wash them before, actually, but I do. It's just because I'm that paranoid. Wash my hands up to like my forearm, and then I wash them after as well. And it still won't surprise me if they seem to teleport. And in the
tropical brays do it as well.
They're known as devil's rice. So they just get everywhere.
Yeah, I've got mine in like I think it's like an 11-litre tub, and that's inside an 18-litre tub that's airtight. I'm not getting them anywhere, because I've made the mistake before when I've had one teleport into a different one, and you're like, oh yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it's like something quite fancy. I was like, oh, I've got loads of babies in there, just all dwarf white. I was like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, it is honestly, like, because I've had a mate come around, and like when I was showing him the eggs and stuff, and he says, like, do you ever worry that this goes with the snakes? And I'm like, I tell people. Look, I'm quite lucky though that the people that have bought from me are people that genuinely know me as well. I don't think I've sold many to many strangers. I've been quite fortunate over the last couple of years in that sense. But yeah, it is like, it's not a worry for me, because I know it's not mites, but yeah, having to tell people that, you know, I've got naturalistic enclosures with free roaming bugs. So it's
Yeah, they don't get that. They do not get that.
Apart from kind of bio-assisted kind of thing, and having them as a cleanup crew or whatever, I think it's nice just to have other life inside an enclosure, even if they're not functional at all. They're just living, whatever they're doing. Got a couple of display booths behind me with vampire crabs, and in there I've got absolutely everything in there because I don't see the crabs ever in the daytime. It's only when I turn the lights off they start venturing out. But in the daytime, I see all sorts of different life walking around. I've got different types of feeders. I've got some small millipedes in there. There's some earthworms. There's different types of isopod, and it's great just watching it.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that. It makes a big difference. I mean, I've got two dwarf retics, and I've got deathhead roaches and different isopods in with them. Mainly because I had so many of the deathheads. They are a nightmare. They breed well.
Yeah.
It's always the stuff you don't want to breed, isn't it? It's always the stuff you want. It's like watching a bloody kettle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's got, I think it was 11 or 12 different species of roaches she works with in her bedroom.
Nice.
One of
brothers are the dubious.
One of the issues I've had in the past with ordering feeders, crickets, locusts, or anything, I can guarantee that in the winter month, I constantly panic that they've arrived dead because obviously it's cold.
They go dormant, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they go dormant. How do you guys approach that then, shipping out in the winter? Do you come across that?
No, so me and Si are probably very similar with this. We might have a slight variation, but basically, my personal rule is if it's under 10 degrees Celsius at night, I'll send with heat packs. A heat pack, not more than one. And if it's under if it's 3 degrees or under, I won't send. There's arguments and proof that the heat packs can work down to 0, but obviously you don't know what you don't know.
It's not worth the risk.
No, mate, no, not at all. It's like, as well, like, I've half, like, challenged people with it when people have gone, oh, that's not acceptable, I'm going to have to wait. I'm like, right, okay, cool. And I bluff it, because I wouldn't do it. But I say, right, I'll send these to you, and when they're all dead, there's no comebackers. And they're like, no, but that's not fair. You offer a live arrival. I'm like, yeah, but they're on my terms. If you want your terms, that's what you get. Luckily, I've never had someone say, right, do it.
Send it, yeah.
Like,
so you wouldn't want to sell to anybody who's willing to take that risk.
Exactly. You just refund them because
that's
what you sometimes get over the winter where people like, I've had to wait 3 weeks, this is shit. And it's like, and I actually say to people, right, go somewhere else and find someone else who will sell you them. And if they will sell you them, exactly like Si says, you shouldn't be buying them, but go try and see who will sell you them, because no one will if they're responsible.
So I ordered
a nightmare because you end up with I know that we've been in the same position before, where we've just got backup for weeks and weeks and weeks where they just order, and then you get that one window where you've literally got like 24 hours to pack everything, and it's just.
I remember when you had like 3 or 4 car runs one day, and it was hard. So
I ordered something from Micro Exotics from Adams, and I think I ended up waiting 6 weeks before the weather got good enough for it to send it. But the thing is, a lot of people approach it, they're just bugs. Oh, they're just bugs. But they're still living things. It doesn't matter whether they're a bug, a mammal, a reptile. If they're alive, they deserve the same level of respect. Even if you're going to feed them off to something, give them the best life you can till that happens.
100%. It's like, at the moment, I've just checked my phone, it's 9 degrees on Monday night. So at the moment, by my rules, Mac will be getting a heat pack. And that's the same for whether it's banana roach. So I sent out a few sets of hissers this week. And a lot of people use them as food, but like you say, and I'm not saying that anyone's wrong for not doing this, but I personally, I send them with heat packs. I send dwarf whites with heat packs.
You don't know what people are buying them for, do you? At the end of the day.
No, but at the same time, I want them. You like that? I like that feeling of people getting them, and it's that experience. I think no matter how cheap or expensive something is, you should be able to open it and think, like that has come in the best possible condition it can, that best possible care. And yeah, it is important. And like Si says, it's when you get those little windows sometimes where it's too cold to send for ages, and then you've got it's hard because then you get that anxiety as to shit like, how do I prioritize this? What do I do first? And
I think the key is just having communication, but a lot of people I find that are purchasing what we're selling are very understanding, and they do understand, that we are trying to do the best for the animal, and we're trying to do the best for them so they get the animals in the best possible condition. But the same happens on the flip as well. In the summer, it can be too hot to send.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But hold on. Nothing we can do.
If cook, there is such a small window of what's acceptable, really, in the reality of it.
We had a day the other week where it was so weird. It was like, it was too cold at night to not send a heat pack, but it was too warm during the day to do it. So you're like, if I don't do a heat pack, it's shit at night. If I do a heat pack, they're going to cook during the day.
Yeah.
So you even get those. You get the middle of the road issues as well.
Wasn't it for about just under a week where that happened, where it was really hot in the daytime and the temperatures just plummeted at night time? Yeah.
You can't allow for the weather at the end of the day. You just got to do what you can.
Yeah, well, no, 100%, mate, 100%. Like Si says, it's very, very rare you will get it where someone does complain. Like, usually whenever there's an issue and you message a few people, everyone's like, yeah, just send it whenever you can. Yeah, no rush. Because like you've said, and like it should be the purpose of the community, like health is the most important part of it, really.
But it's even the same when it comes to plants as well. You can't send plants when it's too cold or too hot either, because otherwise you go to... And it's like, when I've ordered off of Micro in the past, I don't know whether you guys do plants or not, I'm not 100% on that. But even if I've just ordered like a few cuttings and it's too cold, he'll still say, got to wait till it's up to temperature.
Yeah. It's exactly the same thing though, isn't it? Because, you don't want to be sending your stock out that's going to die. And at the same time, you don't want to be sending something out to your customer that's going to die. You're just both going to end up disappointed, aren't you?
Yeah, like somebody's going to end up, and it's not about the money. It's obviously a life is a life, regardless to whether it's a feed or whether it's a pet. But somebody's going to end up out of money as well. Somebody's pockets are going to be a mess.
Yeah, and you're doing something twice, aren't you? You might as well get it right while you're doing it.
100%.
Even things like Springtails, if it's cold, it seems daft, but you pop a heat pack in with Springtails, and the heat pack's worth more than the Springtails are.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that, because like dairy cows, I sell them for $2.50, and in the winter month, I cover the cost of the heat pack and the box and everything. Like heat pack's $1.40, so by the time you've bought everything, I'm probably making 50p or less. Probably less actually. Yeah, probably breaking even on a pack of bloody dairy cows.
Yeah, and that's it.
You'd never
packing them.
Yeah, exactly.
That person might come back.
No, exactly. That's my point.
And that's what you do.
It's still that experience. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's £1 or £100. It still deserves that same care, that same quality.
And it's also word of mouth. Because, I bought from here and I've got a really good service. It's going to get someone to go, yeah, get yours from there. Whereas if someone goes, it came and the box was beaten up, they were ice cold, I wasn't sure if they made it or not, you're not going to recommend that to anyone. If anyone asks, you're going to go, well, actually, don't waste your money there, go somewhere else.
Yeah, 100%. Like me and Si have shared over the years, especially when you could sell on eBay, you get stuff in sealed, like I once had like 50 of, I can't remember what it was. It was not an expensive isopod, but it doesn't matter. 50. They came in literally the old camera case. Do you remember that you used to put film in?
Yeah.
And they had tape, like masking tape on it. And I was just messaging the guy. I was like, "This is fucking terrible." And obviously stunk of fish. They're all dead, and it was just And he was like, "I can replace them." I was like, "I don't want you to, mate. I don't want you to. Like, this is shit."
What are those little like paper envelopes called though? They've got like the grip lock on the top. I ordered some on eBay once, and it was literally soil with isopods in it in one of those little envelopes.
Oh, the Ziploc bags.
Yeah, I've got one somewhere, but they're like the paper ones, the paper zip bags.
Yeah.
It was one of them, and it was inside an envelope with a stamp on it, and that's how they sent them. They've just gone like a letter.
I bought Isopods a few years back, and it was off someone on Facebook. I can't remember who it was or anything like that. And even if I did, I wouldn't say out loud. But they turned up. The box was battered black and blue. There was no heat pack. There was nothing in there apart from 4 different packs of Isopods. Nothing to sort of cushion them. So you put like peanuts or newspaper or and ice cold. And yeah, most of them were dead.
No,
But that was off someone on a Facebook group that was an Isopod Facebook group, which you'd expect a little bit better from.
Yeah.
Do you guys do your own soil mix?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Sorry, go
on. I was just going to say, because I think that's massively overlooked when people come to keeping a naturalistic vivarium. They think that they can go get a block of core, soak it, and then unwhack it in, and then wonder why everything fails.
Bullshit.
The core's got no nutritional value. So if you've got anything that turns over soil, it's just, yeah.
But a lot of millipede kits originally came with core, didn't they?
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. And
the early days, you get your core block with your millipedes, but they need the leaf humus and the rotting wood and all that sort of stuff to get anywhere.
It's especially important for millipedes. That's like the main thing to get right with millipedes is the substrate. With isopods, you could probably get away with keeping a decent colony alive, so just surviving, not thriving, on some crappy substrate, because you've usually got, if you're looking properly, you've got some nice leaf litter on top and some sort of, rotten wood on top of the soil. But with millipedes, you need that nice deep substrate with everything inside it. So you need some nice leaf litter, you need some rotten wood of some sort in there, and you need to keep that topped up as well. So if you go through, if you've had, a millipede enclosure set up for a while, you start going through the soil, once you notice that it's starting running out of those botanical bits that they can eat, you just need to refresh it.
This is something we touched on when we had Phil from Incredible Inverts on. Because a lot of people don't realise how much substrate you need for some millipedes.
Yeah, me and Ads were talking about this a couple of months ago, because we've both got quite large millipede collections. The amount of leaf litter that we go through is unbelievable. You can top it up. You can put 10 centimeters of leaf litter on top in a 30-litre enclosure, and then a couple of weeks later it's gone, and you've got to top it up again. But doing that when you've got 40 or 50 boxes, you've got loads.
And your giant trains need at least 14 inches of substrate, really, when they're adults, to be able to burrow.
Yeah. Crazy.
What I was saying earlier as well about the millipedes and the localities, for example, the olives. I've got 2 localities. I'm not sure if there's more, might be, but Ghanas and Cameroons. So both still olives, but the Ghanas are a lot darker, a lot fatter, and they're a lot more arboreal than the Cameroons. And what is mental with the difference on them is, if you carefully, because obviously they still burrow, if you carefully stick lots of lichen sticks into the substrate, they will hang off them like very ugly green tree pythons, but also they will strip the shit out of it so quick. The lichen. And when people are like, oh, it's nice to have, really, they don't really eat much, it's like, they do, if they get, like, exactly like Si says, you give them the opportunity with good quality stuff and they will absolutely devour it. And my millipedes, I've got, I think, 12 or 13 different types now. Like, they will eat very little of the actual food that you add into it. Mm-hmm. Like, exactly like Si says, it's the quality of the substrate and everything that goes into that. So, like, the flake soil, the rotten wood, the leaf litter, the lichen, all that kind of stuff that you add in, that is the main thing they live on, rather than the actual food that you add, which ends up really just being a supplement more than anything, really.
What I find with millipedes as well is a lot of people come to us and say, we've bought some millipedes, but they've spent, all of their time underground and we never ever see them. It's things like having a food source above ground and having some sort of enrichment above ground as well that helps them, show their natural behaviours. It's just the same as reptiles. If you offer it to them, they'll show you what they can really do. And what we do with all of our millipedes is we have, some sticks, like Dan said, if you put some lichen kind of sticking out the ground, you'll find that your millipedes just climb. And even the ones that have been underground for ages and you never see them, they'll all start coming out. I can see over here I've got a stack of about 8, and because the lights are quite dim in here now, they've all started coming out, and I can see them climbing on everything. It's great to see, but they'll strip branches of lichen in no time at all.
Yeah.
So I've seen videos on YouTube of people keeping millipedes as a cleanup crew for reptiles, but I'm uncertain about how harmful they can be to reptiles. I don't know, and I wouldn't even know how to start figuring out how bad that cyanide is, because some of them are more have more, are more potent than others. But I wouldn't like to take a guess at which ones, without any proper information on them.
Yeah, because some can produce a lot as well. Like, I'm not afraid to say this. Yesterday I was taking a picture of one of the garners on white in the photo box. It wasn't like a white background, and the amount of orange secretion that I had because it was stressed, which I appreciate. Obviously, the bright light, someone can touching it, moving it about. There was a lot that came out of that, so much so I was like, right, I'll just put you back. I'll get someone else who wants to play ball. And I think at the moment, it's, at least for me, and it sounds like Si's the same, a lot of people, unfortunately, will say, oh, just give it a go, see what happens, or yeah, it should be fine. But me and Si, we don't like to recommend something that we've never done. So, maybe it is something to try. It's just obviously space and time to try and replicate, isn't it, really? But then also at the same time, it might be fine once. But then it's like, keeping 2 royals together all their life, or 2 corn snakes or whatever. You might be fine doing that. I might try it, and it might go to shit straight away. So in order to have enough to be a controlled study, it's just very, very, it's almost impossible, isn't it, really?
Yeah. If you research and what other people have done, if you look, I do quite a lot of, on Reddit and WhatsApp groups and things like that, where you actually get, responses from real people who are actually keeping animals. If you look at the kind of things on millipedes, it's usually, they do excrete cyanide, but it's not harmful to humans. But that's not what we're talking about here, is it? It's not harmful.
Yeah.
Something that could be absolutely tiny, and it just wouldn't be, I don't know, it just doesn't seem fair to even try it.
Yeah.
I have tried millipedes as a clean-up crew, and I put them in with the fire skinks, and I wouldn't advise it.
Okay. What happened?
We found bits of millipede.
Okay.
The skinks ate them. The skinks are all right, but I had some fire ones. Can't remember which type exactly, but one of the skinks took a chunk out of one of them, and it was walking around with half its back end missing.
Okay.
I know it's not a nice way of putting it. It was something I did consider again trying with the sail fin, but then thinking about it more, and I probably won't. Millipedes aren't your cleanup crew. There's nothing that they eat that is a byproduct of your animal on the whole that you can't cover with something else.
No. The good thing about what millipedes could do, and there's pros and cons of this, is if they could bury it into your substrate, they can aerate your substrate, which would make it really good for your plants. But then at the same time, they will also go through the roots of your plants and destroy the setup.
Yeah, and you could use earthworms for that.
Yeah.
You could aerate the soil with earthworms, and it's
Yes, I was muted. Sorry, Mike. No, I was muted. I was just saying that a while ago I gave the turtle some earthworms and she doesn't like them, and then I had to do some maintenance on the tank, and I found living earthworms in the substrate, and the substrate is oyster shells, crushed oyster shells, and these earthworms were still living. And earthworms don't breathe oxygen like we breathe; they absorb it through their skin. So as long as the water is well oxygenated, they will live aquatically.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I had that moral standpoint with the earthworms when I had the snapper. And I tried in with them, and they wouldn't eat them. I was like, all right, I'll leave it in for a little bit, and I'll take it out. And then I put a few in a few days later because you were eating them. And I didn't catch them all. I just didn't think there were any left. And then a few days later, I saw one. I was like, oh, wait, it's alive. It was sound. Yeah, it was just swimming. It was just at the bottom there, just minding its own business, swimming about. I was like, it's mental. Yeah, it's yeah. I didn't know that was possible until like you know, it happened almost as an accident.
And I was, because I've got the sump, obviously I've got the water that goes down into the filtration system at the bottom, and then I've got a pump that pushes it back up, and I've got a slight waterfall, so there's plenty of oxygenating of the water going on. And it's just mad it was mad to see when I was moving these rocks about, trying to create a better. So when she sleeps in the corner, and she sleeps standing up like that. So I was just creating more of a wider ledge for her. And it was when I was moving the rocks, and there's just worms swimming about. I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Where have they come from?" And yeah, so then obviously I took to Google, and they absorb oxygen through the skin. So as long as the water's well educated, oxygenated, it's fine.
I think it's kind of a slept upon cleanup crew. I think people think, when they look into bioactive enclosures, they look at springtails and isopods, but yeah, earthworms, great.
Yeah, especially for turning the soil over as well. And then the not only that, it's the earthworm castings as well, which then help nutrients for the plants. So is smart water well educated? It certainly is. It certainly is. I've just noticed the time, lads. It's 5 to 11. I didn't even realize it was. We've been going a while. I've pretty much got through everything I wanted to talk about, and so much more. Is there anything you guys have wanted to touch on, or something that I've missed?
I don't think so. I think it's been a chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've covered most things. And more.
Yeah, but we've covered loads. Yeah, I've literally covered everything. Got a couple of quick fire questions if you want to nip through some of these just before we sign off with, and then we'll give out your socials. So, favourite isopod species you currently keep?
Porcellio lava form. Just the best. Cheap, prolific, lovely. Anything that looks rusty is a big tick in my book.
Nice.
I'm going to go for the cannonballs. Sorry?
So you'll be top 10 now, won't you?
Shut up. If you were an isopod, you'd be my favourite. Some of the best days of my isopod little journey, like seeing you in real life and being able to touch you and hold you, mate.
Oh, beautiful.
We got a really nice embrace, and I've got a picture of that on Facebook, and I've got a picture of on the side of my bed of us both.
I was going to say it's on your mantelpiece.
I'll tell you what, I've got a question actually. So, the two of you obviously work closely together, and you aren't mates, but it's nice to see two separate entities, and I'm guessing these are separate entities in terms of businesses and whatnot. And it's nice to see people working together and pulling each other up rather than dragging down.
I think the hobby. I think what a lot of people don't see with the hobby, especially when they're new, a lot of people think, unfortunately, they come into the game of iSpods and think, oh, a lot of people think I'm going to be rich really quick, but also at the same time, like I'm gonna overtake you. I'm gonna be the next you. I'm gonna do this and that. What they don't appreciate is just how big of a fucking hobby it is. Like there's enough space for everyone plus more.
Yeah.
And like Sai is really shit with me at being a mate. Because what he does, a normal mate would text him and be like, yeah, I don't want this. Can I have it? What price? He just orders it on the website. And then I started pulling him for it. I was like, mate, stop it now. Because I'm actually going to start refunding you and just sort it a different way. Then the other day he texted me and was like, oh, thanks for the extra roaches. I was like, you've not ordered it off me. He was like, yeah, Gemma ordered it instead now, so it's in her name. I was like, hey.
I didn't even. She told me she ordered them when I was in work, so I had no part to play in that.
But no, maybe inside, we've known each other for quite a few years now, and it's never, we've always, there's been points where we've recommended each other over ourselves for people, and we're always sharing like tips, tricks, different things, and I think it's something that's really slept on, and it's one thing that I love about, especially the bricks. Just going back to I guess the beginning of the show, just about the bricks and mortar people, in the sense that that community is very tight. They kind of have to be, to survive, but sharing stock with each other, sharing plans, and like it is very, very understated, and I think it will actually help propel you as a business rather than hinder you, because it opens up so much more
It's something that I've said before. You see a lot of faces come and go from this hobby, and a lot of people who try and they don't succeed, they don't go anywhere. But if you build the relationships with people along the way, you don't knock people down, you don't badmouth people publicly, and you're fair with people. If there's a problem, talk to someone. If there's not a problem, don't create one. But at the end of the day, that's how people get further ahead in this. That's how people succeed in this. Because if someone's an arsehole to you, you'll remember them for that reason. Or if someone helps you out and picks you up, you're going to go, oh, that person's helped me out. They're having a bit of a shit time. You know what, mate? Here, what do you need? How can I help you?
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you both? Socials, websites?
Socials, Instagram, best place, the Bug Room _UK, and the website is thebugroom.co.uk.
If you go onto my website, postpods.co.uk, I've got all the social buttons at the top right. Saves me having to pretend I can remember the different socials.
Fantastic.
Bit late in the day, is it, Dan?
Well, I'm talking about educated water. It's definitely getting late.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to do this just to keep Donna happy, because she has moaned the whole way through the comments. You fixed the giveaway, didn't you, Dan? You fixed it for Donna. There you go, Donna. You happy now?
I didn't intentionally. What happened is Andy texted me and was like, can you get Donna to win it so I can give a shit? I was like, yeah, so.
There we go. There you go. It's all there now.
Fantastic. Tonight's been a proper deep dive into small and micro animals, and it's been really interesting, and it's been a really good conversation as well. We were talking back screen before we come live, and we were saying that we've never had any sort of awkward guests, and you were like, oh, let's set the standard now. But there's not been any awkward moments. It's been a good conversation all the way through, and there's been plenty of chat interaction as well, which is absolutely fun. It's why we do it, for the chat interactions, and to see the communities coming together. Natalie's just said there that the reptile community can learn a lot from the invert community, and I really think it can. The invert community, when we've got invert keepers, breeders, sellers, stores come on, they turn up, so they do. And I definitely see a more tight-knit community from the invert community than I do the reptile community. And it's really good to see. One of the goals that we had was building bridges between all these sort of micro communities, and I think we've definitely built a really good bridge with the invert community. And it's one of Andy's comments is we're not one and done, are we?
No, never. So we'd like to have you guys back at some point, be it 6 months, a year down the line, whatever. Touch base, see how things are going again. Because at the end of the day, it's back to what I said. You're building relationships with people. You're building this camaraderie, so to speak, to increase the reach of the hobby. And then the more people see people getting along, the more they're going to go, well, why are we being such assholes, in theory? I mean, the theory doesn't always work, but it sort of helps point in the right direction that if these guys are all from different areas, like you two yourselves, you've got competing businesses, but you're not competing at the same time. And it shows that it can all work in harmony.
Yeah, 100%. And at the same time, it should, if anything, be positive and inspirational seeing someone else doing well. So you think it's possible. It's possible, to see it move, evolve, and again, as much as me and Simon, but some people, I'll stop calling you Simon. Sorry, it really, really pisses him off.
That's why I checked with him earlier.
I'm going to back you. There's so much that I have that he doesn't, and he has that I don't. So it's not like if they go to him, they won't come to me. There's so much overlap, but also at the same time, like you say, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So the more people you know, the more people you're friends with. It makes it more fucking enjoyable as well.
It really does.
Exactly. I mean, if we go to a show, and I mean, reptile side, we do not get many, and we probably never will again. But if I go, like I'm going to BTS on Sunday, there's people in the comments here that I probably won't know what they look like, nothing personal, guys. But if they recognise me, they come up and say hi. I'm happy to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's just not about. I'm not for competition. That there's no need in it. It's like even when we met at the Wigan show, we just popped behind your table and we were talking to customers together. It's nothing, is it? It's why would you want to do this on your own? Without any peers to talk to or discuss. We're in exactly the same boat. We face the same issues with the same things. Let's just share the experience and go through it together. And it's good with them because we started at pretty much the same time as well, didn't we? Like when we were building our website, we were building our websites at the same time.
Yeah. I'm using this. What are you using? And
yeah.
We both use the same platform and learning and sharing. But at the same time, sometimes I'll have a random anxious thought like, shit, Si, is this the right thing to do with this customer, or is this the right thing with this? What's happened? And you can talk each other through like what in your head is like a difficult situation, and just having it from another expert, you're like, all right, if Si says it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's a massive difference.
It's even when I've been stuck in the past, I'm like, oh shit, I've ordered some stuff for shipping and it hasn't come yet. Can you sort me out? And you'll send me some, deli pots over and stuff like that, and we just help each other out in that way as well.
But then you screwed that up as well. Offered him deli pots. This was when we first started talking. He needed deli pots urgently. And then he spent about 200 quid on website and went, yeah, I've done that, so it makes it viable for you to send me the deli pots. It's proper shit, mate, his site.
Where's it?
Keep paying.
How dare he line your pocket? How dare he?
Do you live locally? Do you live locally together, or are you?
No, we're probably about 3 hours away. So
I know you're more Sheffield way. I know you're North Wales way.
Yeah.
Purely because you mentioned there's a peculiar.
So it's a good drive then.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully I'll get to re-embrace with him at Wigan in a few weeks.
And Andy and I have never met. 6 months. 6 months we've been doing this and we've never met.
Are you going to meet at BTS?
How did you two?
BTS.
We came together through one of the WhatsApp communities, RSUK.
Okay.
And I will give them another shout out because without them, we wouldn't have got to where we are. What was that?
I think I'm in. I am in RSUK.
Yeah. So RSUK, me and Mac used to chat a lot and banter a lot and give advice a lot and all that sort of stuff in the groups there. And the standing joke became, you two don't shut up, do something with it. And we went, okay. And then a week later, we started the podcast. And now 6 months down the line, we've got a podcast. And not everyone likes it. Not everyone has to, but you know.
Is there anything you want to do after the podcast? So, as well as maintaining the podcast, is there any other projects that you're working on together?
We've got a few things in the pipeline, videos and additional things we're sharing, information. We want to build up a reliable source of care information over time, but it needs to be right, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look on our Instagram, we did a couple of like infographics. We did we've done like reptile genetics and just a basic breakdown of what it is, things like that. And we want to do more with that to provide information in snippets. We don't want it so it's sort of like, oh my God, I've got to digest all this. It's just so you can take a little bit on this, or if that doesn't interest you, the next one might be more up your street sort of stuff. And build the platform on that.
We want to do a couple of idiot guides as well.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a derogatory term. I don't mean that in a derogatory term. Have you ever heard of a guy called Thomas Griffiths? He's an autistic lighting nerd, and he's a twat.
Really nice bloke, but fucking grade A.
Yeah, and we had him on the podcast a while ago, and he's in loads of groups, and there's not much this guy doesn't know about lighting for reptiles. And I'm not just talking like LED or UVB. Like he's up there, and when he talks, it's amazing to get the information. But half the time, people haven't got a clue what he's on about.
Yeah.
So we want to do a short series on like breaking that down, understanding it to a little bit more of the layman's terms. We are trying to work through the Reptile Keeper companion app, which tracks data, sort of a show and tell. And then just like we've got a couple of long-term goals that we've spoke about mentioning. I have to keep Andy grounded a lot of the time because he's just like, his energy is just next level. And it's like, Andy, Rome wasn't built in a day. Honestly, like I've even got a shortcut on my phone where I could just put RBD and it just writes Rome wasn't built in a day because it's said constantly. But yeah,
I'm thinking 6 months down the line a lot of the time.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that.
I'm booked, like with the podcast, I'm booking October. We've got guests up till October at the moment. Every week.
Well, remember with how organised you are, like, Si gave me the dates for this months ago, and then he messaged me, like, Tuesday, I think it was, like, are you all set for Friday? I was like, what's happening Friday? It was at the podcast, like, shit. I
still ask Andy on a Friday morning who we've got on so I can get the slides and everything ready. So don't worry about it.
It's just that I like to make sure I've got the guests booked up, that if I have trouble getting older people, I've got a little bit of leeway on that. Because again, I work a full-time job. I've got 3 kids. I've got a partner. I've got animals. If I have a couple of weeks where shit hits the fan,
I'm surprised you've got a partner sometimes.
So am I, to be fair. To be fair, I'm surprised I'm not pulling sharp objects out of body parts some days.
So are we. So are we.
Yes. Yes.
Listen,
I do deserve all the abuse.
Well, sometimes you do when you grasp me up.
Hey, at least she knew about it before I did it.
Yeah. Right, folks. I'm gonna end on there, or else we're just gonna keep on talking. And it's 11:10 on a Friday night. I'm sure people have got lives to get back to, partners and kids and all the rest of it. Thank you all very much for joining in again. And for those that are watching on demand, please remember to hit that subscribe button. Please remember to hit that like button. Please remember to hit that share button and do leave a comment. I don't know, say something silly in the chat, like Sharpie or something, so we know you made it to the end. And we'll see you on the next one, which is next Friday. And who have we got next Friday, Andy?
I'm double checking. I'll go to my list. We've got Yaz next Friday.
Yaz. That'll be interesting. That will be interesting.
I'd love to see her face right now.
I imagine she can't see her own face because she's caught up with some friends. She's gone to the Isle of Wight.
Wight, yeah.
And she's
poor girl.
She's doing some dog agility competition thing. GG lads, legends, love it from Only Pod Store. Hellfire Herbs, big love, happy Friday, 100%. I will see you all next Friday with Yaz, who's actually stepped up and become part of the M.A.D Exotics team, which is really cool. But we'll see you then, and I'll see you all when I'm looking at you. Good night. It's just going to cut out this time round, so it is. So
yeah,
that's it. We need confirmation we're done, Andy.
I'm waiting for it to catch up. Come on, come on.